Hey everyone, Brian from Three Geeky Dads here. Before we begin tonight's episode, I just want everyone to know that we are now sponsored by Audible. As an IT professional for a school department, I find myself behind the wheel of my car traveling between schools almost all day long, and that's where Audible comes in. Right now, I'm enjoying listening to Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, read by Stephen Fry. It's so enjoyable to hear this hilarious audiobook read by a proper British comic actor. And that's just scratching the surface. Audible is the leading provider of spoken word content, with everything from bestsellers, celebrity memoirs, and news to podcasts. Yes, if you're into podcasts, and you're listening to us right now, so we can assume you do, Audible has got you covered. Just go to www.audibletrial.com/3GD to get your free 30-day trial today. That's www.audibletrial.com/3GD to get your free 30-day trial. You'll get 1 credit, 2 credits if you're already an Amazon Prime member. That's good for any premium selection titles you like, and they're yours to keep. You also get the Audible Plus catalog of podcasts, audiobooks, guided wellness, and Audible originals. Listen all you want. No credits needed. Again, that's www.audibletrial.com/3GD. $14.95 a month after your 30-day trial. Cancel at any time. Audible. Stay informed, connected, and inspired. And now, on with the show.
Warning, incoming dad joke. Warning, incoming dad joke.
I was wondering why this Frisbee was getting bigger and bigger. And guys, then it hit me.
Oh.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
It looks like a pink nightmare.
Christmas as in Yule log. Not a log, I don't have a log.
Mother's
All that I have, all that I've learned, everything I feel, all this and more I bequeath you, my son.
Your father was Frankenstein, and your mother was the lightning.
We named the dog Indiana.
I am your father.
Hello and welcome to another gripping episode of Three Geeky Dads, the show now brought to you by Jack Nicholson Sex Drive Enhancers, the pill that'll amp your sex drive to cuckoo nest levels of crazy. Jack Nicholson Sex Drive Enhancers, wait till she gets a load of you.
I'm cuckoo for cuckoo nest, cuckoo for cuckoo nest.
I am Mark, and with me as always are the lock and shock to my barrel,
Derek.
And Brian.
And what show would be complete without our own Oogie Boogie, Tito?
Hey.
Hey. What's up?
Hey.
Very oogie of you. Speaking of Tito, as we often do.
I want to be Jack Skellington.
Too late. Too late.
Waiting for this.
I was too, but
Listen, Sally.
he's given up. Yeah, I didn't
I like Oogie.
And he likes to boogie. I like to boogie.
I like the Oogie.
I like the nightlife. Hey, speaking of Tito, as we often do, this month of March has now been dubbed in the March of Madness, which is a brand spanking new idea, which, if you heard last week's show, and you really should have, was inspired by Tito, and now 1 week later, here we are. But I hear you asking, Mark, you incredibly sexy yet annoying ass clown, what is this in the March of Madness? Well, folks, this is the month where anything goes, where we deal with films that play with your mind and cause you to go mad, I tell you. Tonight, we launch this off with the classic tale of a father who wants to kill his family because a bartender and that guy who was in the table scene from Temple of Doom told them to. This is The Shining, a movie based on a Stephen King book that made a lot of people happy, except Stephen King. But before we polish our acts, throw a ball against the wall, and wonder exactly what genetic experiments were used in creating Shelley Duvall, our own caretaker of culinary, Brian Ranch
rhymes.
Dressing Ramsey, has prepared a yummy appetizer to start us off. Brian?
Oh, that's enough ketchup. Come on. Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
So, this week we begin a new series in the March of Madness, coined at the very end of last week's final Fantasy February episode by our very own Tito. In the March of Madness means we're going to be looking at some of our favorite films that explore a slow descent into the realm of insanity. Tonight's film To kick it all off is a little light romp through the cavernous halls of a haunted hotel, a frigid frozen hedge maze, and the most twisted, tangled labyrinth of them all, the human mind, as Jack, our protagonist, slowly goes mad, I say, due to isolation, boredom, or could unseen otherworldly forces also have a hand in driving him insane? Yes, tonight we're looking at Stanley Kubrick's adaptation of Stephen King's The Shining, a film that upon release Stephen King hated because it deviated so much from the source material. And that got us thinking, what other films out there are worse than the source material? And what films are better?
Ooh. Nice. Project. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. I believe Derek went last week, so Brian, would you like to start us off?
I can start us off. Are we starting off with the better adaptations or the worst?
Do you want to do both at the same time? You want to go better first?
Why don't we all do better or worse?
First or the bad news?
Yeah, which one do you want? The good news or the bad news?
You pick. You're starting us off.
Let's do the good news.
All right.
I'm bringing the good news, and the better adaptation that I'm picking is The Princess Bride from 1987, based on the William Goldman novel of the same name, the film directed by Rob Reiner and written by Goldman. The screenplay was based on his own work. This movie, I think, is much better than the book because, personally, I thought the book was hard to get through. I know a lot of people liked the book. It had a lot of fun wordplay, but when I tried to read it
There's no pictures.
You know, I didn't care about that, Derek. But I saw the movie first. I wanted to read the book. I found the book in paperback. I tried to read it, and I had a hell of a time trying to get through it. And so I'm just, by personal experience, picking that the movie was a better adaptation.
That movie is so perfect.
I love it.
It's like, I can't,
a great movie.
It's probably a very perfect movie.
I think it might be the greatest movie ever made.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not my favorite movie ever, but I think it might be the greatest movie ever made. And I haven't seen them all.
No arguments here, my friend.
I haven't seen them all.
I can't argue with you.
But the ones I have.
Wait till you see Skinamarink.
Is there a book on that about Skinamarink?
Oh, there will be.
Is there a book? Yeah. It's
Everybody
Mark
poops.
and I are writing it right
It's
now.
called Everybody Poops.
Everybody. It's called Suck, and that's it. Tito?
Yeah, I went graphic novel. I'm going Watchmen.
Nice.
As much as I love the graphic novel, I actually really enjoy the things they took out of it to make this movie, and I think it makes for a really good film. At the end of it, I was like, "Oh, that's good. I'm glad they took out the
Tales from the
squid
Black Freighter and all
monsters,
that.
taken out of it." I like the Night Owl stuff in the graphic novel, and they did like a short with the actor,
Yeah.
and then they made like I think it's like 4 hours or something where they added all that with Gerard Butler playing the pirate in the animated scenes. And the stuff with the Night Owl, and I tried to watch it, and I couldn't get through it. It was too much. So I think they did a perfect job with this movie.
Were you happy with the ending being changed? They got rid of the giant squid thing as well?
Because the whole time I was waiting for this movie to come out, I was like, oh, how's that going to work? And even reading the graphic novel, I didn't care that he had kidnapped all these scientists and artists and blah, 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 and they create this monster. It didn't work for me. So yeah, that's my...
Cool.
Plus, I don't read books, so it had to be something with pictures. It had to be something with pictures. Derek. It's just fun, Derek. It's just fun. It's too easy. You make it too easy.
Mark.
Sorry, I gotta get that last guffaw out. I'm going Jaws. I read the Peter Benchley book, and I thought it was okay, but I think the movie is much better.
There's a book about that movie?
There's a book about Jaws.
Wow.
You didn't know that?
No.
You didn't know it's based
I
on a
just
book?
told you guys I don't read books.
Live under a
No,
rock.
we've talked about it before because there's like a whole subplot with the mafia.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yes.
Subplot.
There's
really
a
is.
subplot with the mafia.
Does Jaws owe them money?
Threatening.
Is he a loan shark?
Jaws.
Is he collecting for the
He's
mob?
the loan shark. He's the original loan
Is
shark.
he a Shylock?
No, that's Jaws 4.
Where's my money, Brody? Where's my money?
money?
Give me my money, Brody.
You
get money for good votes.
What kind of drugs did you take?
No, the mob gets involved with trying to stop Chief Brody from closing the beaches because, it's all about the money. In the movie, it's just the mayor.
What's the mob getting from the... What do they own?
Business.
Like
Did you,
the
did you
parking
not
lots
see,
or
did you
whatever?
not see me do
That's the parking lots.
money?
Parking
Money,
money.
that's
Money.
vague.
That's
How do they get
They
the money?
I don't
The
know.
parking lot mafia.
They just they're involved. They
Okay.
get the mob to threaten Brody and say, "Hey, you closed the beach. Something terrible could happen to Ellen."
Oh,
Yeah. Richard Dreyfuss and Ellen have an affair in the book. It's Dreyfuss
would.
is not a nice guy. He's a dick. He's not Dreyfuss. Excuse me. Hooper drives the boat in the movie. In the book, he bangs the wife. So it's not good. It's not
trade.
enjoyable. It's like 9 different subplots in one fair trade.
And one shark.
In one shark story. And Spielberg.
See, I like in the movie, his love, his life, and his lady is the sea.
And Spielberg took the book and said, "No, fuck this. Just a story about a shark." And I like it a lot better. So that is mine. We're talking. Wait, did we say book that was better or
Adaptation. It could
Movie
be
adaptation.
anything.
Okay.
The movie you thought was better than
I
Yeah,
thought,
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I got a little confused.
No, you got
A lot
it
of
right.
chatter.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Back
I
and
tune
forth.
into all the
That
chatter.
was probably all that mob talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, reminding me of my time. And no, never mind. Derek, how about?
I also am going with a graphic novel, Sin City. I love the series of books and just the image. Like they were able to take a graphic novel and make it live action, right off the page.
Yeah. If ever there was a comic book come to life,
Totally,
it's Sin City.
totally. And I
Yeah.
mean,
Agreed.
it was innovative. The way that it was filmed, the addition of color, the colors with the black and white. It was just, it was awesome.
With just hints of color here and there.
Robert Rodriguez was great. Mickey Rourke was perfect.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
perfect casting. The makeup in it was
Everybody,
perfect.
looked
Everybody
great in that movie.
Yeah.
Such a great cast, great music, and it just all around.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie.
I agree with you. Both of you guys, actually. I think that I like the film adaptations better in both of them.
Funny because both the authors are assholes too.
Well, I like Frank Miller.
I know you
Alan
do.
Moore, I could give a crap about.
They make good.
I'll agree with you with one of them for me.
I never
I'll
met
meet you.
Frank
I'll
Miller.
meet you halfway.
Meet me halfway. Like
I'll
the
meet you
song.
halfway. Yeah, I'll meet you. No, I don't know.
That's Kenny Loggins.
It's Rihanna,
Meet
isn't
me
it?
halfway.
Rihanna, Kenny Loggins. You could confuse
know.
those two easily.
I don't know. I
So,
thought it was
all
Kenny
right. So,
Loggins.
what was the movie that
She's like
sucked?
the wind.
That's Kenny Loggins.
Oh no.
That's
No.
Patrick
No,
Swayze,
that's
yeah.
Patrick Stewart.
Swayze, yeah.
Thank you. She's like the wind.
It's the mob.
It's the mob.
Does Jaws wear a fedora
Jaws
in the
wear
book? Is it like Jabba Jaw?
Jabba Jaw, I was gonna say.
Walking around in disguise?
Give me my money. Yak, 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 yak.
It's Bruce,
The idea of
voiced
this
by
book-
Marlon Brando.
The idea of this book is so amazing to me.
It is. It is.
Not the actual book itself, but what I think it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not what you're thinking now is better.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like it probably
As
is.
ridiculous as Jaws: The Revenge was.
Yeah, how have they not made this movie? Like, they make all these horrible shark movies that make no sense and totally unrealistic.
Name one. No, I'm kidding. Jaws: The Revenge, the ultimate Christmas movie.
They should make Lone Shark.
They should have the mob in
Oh,
Jaws
it
4.
should, it should be about a shark.
Lone
that's a
Shark.
I'm telling you, that's got Netflix.
my
That thing
God.
shows
That's got Netflix or
potential.
Prime
That's
written all
money.
over
If
it.
Yeah.
that thing
Money.
shows up on the Sci-Fi Channel next year, Derek, you should be demanding
Shark.
royalties.
I am.
Someone's
This is
listening.
documented. It's
I'm
documented.
gonna go home and write it.
Lone Shark.
Practically writes itself.
Lone Shark McQueen, played by Steve McQueen. No, that would not work. This is money, by the way.
That's you snapping your
No, yeah,
finger.
that's
No,
Poorly.
This is money.
No,
I know.
this is money. Money is a little bit slower than
not-
that. You're
No, that's if you have a lot of money, which
Yeah.
I never do.
No, Derek,
so,
you're playing the world's smallest violin over there. What are you doing?
Yeah, that was
some wine with that cheese. I mean, cheese with that wine.
no, that's Tommy Boy. Hey, Patty, you're naughty. All right, Jesus. What's a movie we think sucked compared to the book, Brian?
So I'm going with the Hobbit trilogy, directed by Peter Jackson, came out in 2012. Warner Brothers split the only 310-page novel into a 3-part trilogy, which was as big as the Lord of the Rings trilogy was, which was thousands and thousands of pages.
About as big
over
of a money
3
grab
books.
as it can be.
It was overstuffing the relatively simple original plot with additional characters and plot lines. The choices left a sour taste that hasn't aged well in the mouths of many long-term Tolkien fans and moviegoers alike that hold the book close to their hearts.
I really like
you.
the castings of Martin Freeman.
Oh, I agree. No,
Who's
as
Smaug?
far
Who
as
does
like
the voice of
young
Smaug?
Bilbo.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh,
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
And they had
Smaug,
been doing
yes.
Sherlock Holmes, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is going to be great. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, these movies blow.
Yeah, no, they weren't as good as the
Not a
original.
fan.
The original Lord of the Rings.
And I usually
trilogy.
like the main dwarf guy.
Yeah, I know who you're thinking
Dwarfy?
of too. Dwarfy.
Dwarfy.
He was in Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
No,
Wasn't he one of the Nova Corp guy?
No.
Nova Corp.
no.
was in it?
John C. Reilly?
No, I know who you're thinking of, and no.
No.
The guy with John C. Reilly.
We're a
Oh,
bunch of
you're thinking of
assholes.
Peter Serafinowicz.
Yes,
I am
yes. No,
thinking
he
of
wasn't. He wasn't one of the dwarfs.
Never mind.
Pete from Shaun of the Dead.
Thorin. Richard Armitage.
Richard
Is that who you're
Armitage was the
thinking
head
of?
dwarf.
Yeah.
Richard Armitage.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derek. Richard Armitage.
Richard Armitage was the sheriff of Nottingham on the Robin Hood show from the BBC.
Okay.
Used to love. All right, sorry.
No,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm done.
Tito?
He's right. He's right.
He's right.
He's right. So
Don't sound too disappointed. Jesus.
Damn, I thought I had something. Damn it.
this book I actually did read, and I did kind of like the movie, but the book is
Pokey
too
little
good.
puppy.
We were talking about it earlier. It's Ready Player One.
No.
Nice.
I thought the movie was okay. It was entertaining, but the book is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I was really excited for.
I
the
like
movie
the
to come
three
out.
stages in the books.
Oh
better than-
yeah, so do I. Yeah. Because you have to do so much, and there's so many.
As far as getting the
references.
3 keys, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, each step. It's like you got to solve the riddle to find the key, to then solve another riddle to get to the challenge, to pass the challenge. And like I said, I thought they did a pretty decent job of the movie, and there were a lot of really cool references that were more contemporary for the time that it's coming out. I guess it makes sense, but
And all related to Steven Spielberg.
yeah, right.
I know.
Yeah, very true. But for someone like myself who grew up in a certain time, like there was a lot of really cool. That book actually got me into Rush. Like I wasn't a Rush fan.
Yeah.
I'd heard like Tom Sawyer, but then after reading the book, I started listening to Rush a little bit more, and yeah.
Rush just texted me, actually.
Is that them?
They appreciate
They
that,
said thank
Tito.
you for
Thank you
the-
very much.
Mine's on silent.
Yeah, no, it's me.
Oh, Derek, that's 2 for 2. Derek, his phone's on silent. You were right earlier. Yeah, you're on a roll, my man.
I'm sorry. Sorry to disappoint
Well,
everybody.
don't go
Doing good
back.
tonight. I'm not fucking...
All right.
What do you got?
It was the Pope. He's doing
Ready
fine.
Player One.
All right?
Yeah. Is it Jeremy Renner?
It's Loan Shark. It's Jeremy.
It's Lone Shark.
Lone
Where's
Shark.
my $17,
I'm
Macrina?
coming to play you in your ass. Because
You got-
Jaws is Marlon
You got
Brando.
money for new comics, Mark.
dude,
Where's
can
my
we
money?
Can we do 3 Geeky Dads Lone Shark? Did that get discussed? Was I not paying attention? Because I feel like we should
No,
do
we-
3
we-
Geeky
we
Dads
should-
Lone Shark.
we should-
What, 3GD Presents?
Yeah,
Oh,
Lone Shark.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it should be.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
3GD presents
That-
their
that'll be
version
for 4th of
Jaws.
July.
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
I would rather do a retelling of Jaws and call it Lone Shark, and then we can play all the oh, that'd be fun. You
There's
heard it
gotta be
here
a lot of
first.
Coming
folks.
soon
Uh-huh.
to a podcast near you.
Let me get the Star Wars one
You'll
going.
never go back in the pod again.
Just when you thought it was safe to
Fish
go back.
off
Just when you thought it was
I
safe to
know
go
where you
back
were
in the
going.
pod. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, see, we're clicking, Tito.
Movies about animals are dumb. What's your...
See, a group
Mine,
of dolphins is called a pod. And dolphins are known as gay sharks. See how it all connects?
Yeah,
And they also make me cry.
yeah.
Like
Thank you, Hootie.
Like the Hootie song.
And they're always smiling.
Dolphins rape people.
Those Lisa Frank Technicolor dolphins. They
They're
make
the
me
Joker
cry.
fish. That's what they are. What are you always smiling about, dolphin?
Smilex fish.
Flipper. Remember Flipper? Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't saving anybody. He was raping him.
Get your whistle.
That's a horrible dolphin. Hey! You can't do it. That's my dolphin. Hey! I'm walking here. What's that thing they do? They say, hey, I'm doing that SeaWorld trick thing.
It's like dancing on the top of the water.
God, no one knows what the fuck we're talking about.
Dolphins.
Dolphins. Dolphins.
Do you have a dorsal fin? Does he call you at home on the phone?
I could watch them swim all day. I mentioned this the other week. I am going with I Am Legend. It's one of my favorite books. It has been made 3 times. First one with Vincent Price, which I liked, but the vampires were just people going around screaming, Morgan! Morgan, you know, whatever the guy, Vincent Price's name was. The second one was Omega Man, not vampires, albino mutated people.
Yeah.
Good
Heston.
movie. Charlton Heston, good movie, but still not as true to the book. Closer, but then I Am Legend came along. I was all excited, and it was Will Smith. They were making it a little more actiony. I thought, oh yeah, fine. And then I saw it, and I said, well, you know, I'm gonna slap Will Smith, and next time, keep your wife out of my Legend, because fucking stretchy mouth, CGI, the ending's a little different. Everything's changed. It was just horrible, and I was really looking for it. I thought it would be finally an adaptation that was true to the novel by Richard Matheson, and sadly I was wrong, so that's my pick.
Nice.
Thank you. Derek?
I am keeping it close to home, to our tonight's topic. My worst adaptation is Hearts of Atlantis.
I never saw it.
Anthony Hopkins. It's got a great cast. Anthony Hopkins is in it. Hope Davis. David Morse, Anton Yelchin, to name a few. But it's missing so much from the books. The book was so good, and it's really like it's 2 novellas and 3 short stories, and it's all connected around the characters that are in the movie. But the adaptation only did 2 of the stories, Low Men and Yellow Coats, which never explain the actual low men in yellow coats. So you'd only know what they actually were or have any explanation if you saw the movie or if you had read any of if you had read the book or if you had read any of the Dark Tower movies, because they're connected to that. And Heavenly Shades of Night Falling, which is the other story that they added, kind of fit into the movie. But like the Vietnam era stuff from the book is like the best part of the book. When I read that book, it was one I had read it right after I read Bag of Bones, and it was 2 books in a row by him that I just could not put down. I definitely recommend it to everybody, but I don't recommend the movie. And that's my pick.
All right, good picks. Anybody have a runners up at all? I couldn't.
Road to Perdition, as far as another graphic novel. That movie was fantastic.
The movie was really good.
And Green Mile, as much as I loved it, the book is way better.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, and sticking with Stephen King, the Mist.
Yeah,
is a better movie than the story. Even Stephen King said that the ending is much better and has much more of a punch than the ending he came up with.
It doesn't really end in the short story. They just drive away and you hear a little faint sound on the radio. This is much darker.
Yeah. Oh, that movie.
Frank Darabont.
That movie's him and Stephen King, man, they've got a hell of a relationship as far as...
and a lot of the same actors, because David Morse and Hope Davis were both in Green Mile.
Yep.
In the Mist.
No.
But in the Hearts of Atlantis.
Sorry.
But that wasn't
Frank Darabont.
Yeah.
Did Frank Darabont do that one too?
I think so. Yeah.
He didn't.
I didn't know that.
Redemption.
Yeah, I knew he did Shawshank, and I knew he did The Mist, but I didn't know he did Hearts of Atlantis.
I'm also going to say Stand By Me. Even though the body's just a short story, I mean that film took an idea and
ran with it,
and added a bunch of great stuff.
No, that's true. Yeah. Another one by Rob Reiner. Speaking of The Princess Bride.
I got one. Never Ending Story is better. Is a better movie than the book. I read the book, and at
that
no
book goes
point,
on and on.
No, nobody invited me to save the world. I was expecting after seeing the movie for the Empress to start talking to me.
Well, that's another story, Mark.
Mark, call my name. I had a great name all picked up. Chumbawamba.
Jason Voorhees.
Right.
Mark's sitting there
Mr.
reading,
Mixoplex. The possibilities were endless, but it ended. So that's my runner-up. There you go.
Mark's sitting in his room eating an apple weirdly.
I did. I thought I was doing it wrong. You know how many apples I consumed? Because I was like, maybe I'm not eating it right.
You got to eat the whole core, too.
I did. I do anyway.
And the sticker.
Oh, you got to grow an apple tree out of your stomach,
That's the best part, fiber. All right, good appetizer. Shall we get to the main course, everybody?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
Jill, I don't know if you might want to try this. I make a sauce, we call it fancy sauce.
For me.
that Brennan really likes with his chicken nuggets?
It's my fancy sauce.
Well, when Brennan finishes, I'll give you some of this, and it's ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together.
So good.
I want some fancy sauce.
Yeah.
I'm not done using it.
Here's Johnny. It was this line that solidified Jack Nicholson as an icon of horror. That sinister face peering through a hole in the door, eyes narrowing in on the helpless Shelley Duvall, screaming while cornered and gripping a knife. Her only line of defense against her husband lost to a supernatural void of darkness and insanity. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining seems to have gained a reputation that in many ways is more interesting than the actual film. The story of the drama that went on behind the scenes, the fact that Stephen King himself was very unhappy with this version of his best-selling novel. Brian, you brought up the documentary from Room 237 with all kinds of theories and takes and views of the film. There's The Shining we've seen and The Shining that's talked about, and upon rewatching it, I found out that it's two different things. It's been hailed a classic and indeed has a huge following, but whenever it's talked about in documentaries or mentioned on a greatest list, they all seem to pick the same 3 or 4 scenes. Besides the scene I just mentioned, there's also the twins beckoning Danny to come play with them, the blood spilling from the elevator, Danny being chased through the hedge maze, and Jack Nicholson threatened to bash Wendy's brains in, and a bear giving a guy a blowjob. True, these are scenes of horror iconography for sure.
Cocaine bear.
Oh, we'll get to that.
It's ecstasy bear. Molly bear.
Where was I? True, these are scenes of horror iconography for sure. And yes, you could say that about many horror films in terms of the same famous scenes being discussed over and over again. But in an epic-sized story such as this, there seems to be a lot that's never discussed. Rarely is the music ever talked about, or the performances and the more quieter scenes, and not just from Jack Nicholson, but from others in the supporting cast, or some of the breathtaking cinematography with the Overlook Hotel. The Shining, the movie itself, has been looked at by many as a very long movie that tends to drag, and had some critics and moviegoers complain that the shocks are too far apart, while others have stated that it suffers from a poor cast, save Jack Nicholson, who steals the movie and overshadows the rest of the film. Stephen King himself has stated that Jack Nicholson was the worst casting choice for the film, going on to say that it's one thing to have a man go crazy, like the character in his book, than have a man who is clearly crazy from the start. So what do you, the people at home, think? There seems to be more that needs to be looked at in The Shining, and what better way to launch off in the March of Madness than for us to do just that. Gentlemen, opening thoughts. Tito.
Wow, that was good.
Thank you.
I think you included them in your intro. Everything you read, I was just like, oh, that's that.
That's
This
how I
movie
feel.
is long. It's a long fucking watch. And Jack Nicholson is actually my favorite part about this film.
Agreed.
Although he seems like a lunatic the entire time. It doesn't feel like he's going crazy. It feels like he doesn't have his medicine, so he's getting angry. And I've known some of those people. You know, they're just irritated. He just seems irritated the whole time.
Why are you looking at me?
I thought he was looking at me.
Because you were waving your hand earlier angrily at me. I thought you were going to hit me in the head.
Put that bat away.
Yeah, Shelley Duvall, no good. Sorry. I actually like her. I don't think she's a bad actress, but I'm not a fan of her in this film. I love Scatman Crothers. He's jazz. I love jazz. It makes me angry that he spent 6 days trying to get to them, and he dies as soon as he walks into the fucking hotel.
What a waste.
And the pacing is so weird, and the timing is so weird. None of it makes sense to me. He's on a plane. He's going to the place. He gets the tractor. He's got to call somebody. It's like, what the fuck are they doing this whole time?
It's like Stewie Griffin traveling to go slap Will Ferrell in the face.
So, I don't know. It's I see why people really, really enjoy this movie. It's just not. It's not for me. Or I'll say it's never been for me.
Good, Brian.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I agree with you 100%. So
I agree with what Tito said. But it also brings up something that Derek mentioned last week about event directors. And Kubrick seems to be an early event director. Like, he only made select movies, and they came out like every 5 years. And like everyone knew that he was working on a new movie, and he was meticulous about putting these things together. Yeah. So he took forever to make these things. And when they came out, it was an event. Kubrick's new film. Be it Clockwork Orange, be it 2001, be it this movie, be it I'm trying to think.
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket, which came out after. All event films. Bless you, Tito.
Even after his death.
Yeah.
When Spielberg finished Eyes Wide Shut.
And AI.
That's
AI
right, I
was his
forgot about
very
that.
final
That's
one
right.
that Spielberg finished.
That's right.
Oh, that was a Kubrick movie.
That was a Kubrick one.
Originally.
Kubrick started
I
that
didn't
when
realize.
Spielberg finished it.
Right.
Huh.
When the aliens come in, that's when Spielberg took over.
Yeah.
It actually ended when he saw the Blue Fairy, I think. And then Spielberg said, "Oh no, I'm too cuddly for this shit. Throw in some aliens." Sorry, Brian.
It's a movie I think people need to see, but it's not one that you can revisit over and over and over. At least in my opinion, it's not one that I've revisited over and over and over. I maybe have seen this movie twice in my life.
Wow.
And I'm a casual Kubrick fan. I love A Clockwork Orange. I like 2001, but that's another one that's tough to revisit. Full Metal Jacket is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Full Metal Jacket is actually 2 movies in one.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing, film put together. He's an incredible director with an incredible style, and King might have been right. I don't know if he was right for this film.
Yeah.
It's not a terrible film, but it could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot shorter.
Yeah.
The pacing could have been a lot tighter.
Dude, it was like I kept thinking about when we were doing the Clash of the Titans, and you're like, it takes 25 minutes to get to a certain point. And I'm watching the movie and I paused and I was like, it's been a half hour. They've been showing me this they're giving us a tour of the hotel for a half hour.
Yeah.
I don't the story's gonna do that for me.
Yeah.
I don't need a tour with the cast. Show
Right.
me the fucking hotel through the story.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. And I
just
get
made
it.
me think of that.
No. I get what you're saying, but I can almost see because the hotel is almost like a character in itself.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think you need to see the vastness, the cavern. Like I said in my opening, the cavernous hallways, the huge lobby set that Jack writes in. It's beautiful to behold. But yeah, you're right. I think he spends a little bit too much time establishing that.
Well, what's tough for me is that they all visit all of those rooms multiple times. You
Later
see the
on,
same
exactly.
areas
No,
of the
you're
hotel.
absolutely right.
There's nothing new that they're showing you as the movie goes on.
And Mark mentioned the music. The music was done by Wendy Carlos, who
I like that name.
Wendy Carlos actually started off. Wendy Carlos is a native of Rhode Island, actually born in Pawtucket.
I like it even more.
Wow.
Born as Walter Carlos. Wendy went through reassignment surgery later on in her life, but she also did the music for A Clockwork Orange. She also did the music for Tron and this movie, among other. She was a pioneer with the Moog synthesizer. She was a real early pioneer with electronic music, and brilliant. I had some of her early albums. They're not in print anymore. I had them on cassette, and I've tried to find them on digital and even CD, and they're very tough to find. But her work is brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And I think the music in this is haunting. It's as haunting as any.
ominous,
It's as haunting as any scene in the movie. Like just it conveys such a sense of dread, and I absolutely love the music that she put down in this film. And that's pretty much all I have to say.
Nice.
It's weird because before we recorded, I was thinking everybody was a Kubrick fan, and I am not in general. I mean, like you said, Brian, there's a handful of films that are like outstanding that he's done and that I do love.
I haven't seen everything that he's done.
I've Doctor Strangelove.
I've seen that.
Clockwork Orange and
Lolita. I've never seen.
I've never seen Lolita.
I've never seen Barry Lyndon either. With what's his name, Ryan O'Neal.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
That came out in the mid-'70s.
So maybe I would like him.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I actually really do like this movie, and I even with the differences, like I do prefer the book. Like as far there's a lot of things that I should say there's a lot of things about the book that I prefer. They did make a movie that was closer to the book, the miniseries, and I didn't really like it, even though it was closer to the book. It was just kind of, I don't know, I didn't really.
Yeah, Steven Weber, Rebecca De
Right,
Mornay.
and it was probably because it was for TV.
Oh,
It wasn't
really?
very scary. Yeah,
How many
Rebecca
TV
De Mornay and
how many
guy from
TV
Wings?
Stephen King?
Stephen
Yeah,
Weber?
exactly. How many TV adaptations did Stephen Weber do for Stephen King books?
a lot.
Because he also did The Perfect Storm. He did another one too. I thought.
Desperation, which I believe was not a series. It was
No,
a
not
movie.
Perfect Storm. Storm of the Century.
Storm of the Century. Thank you.
No,
Derek.
that was
Thank
Tim
you.
no, that wasn't Stephen Weber. That was Tim Daly.
Oh, the other guy from
the guy from
all right,
Wings.
all right. I'm getting my characters mixed up, but I
But,
knew there was a Wings connection.
But yeah, the cinematography in this movie and the music, like Mark said in the intro, those two things are like they captivate me with this movie. And Jack Nicholson. I agree. Like as an adult now, looking back at this movie, it doesn't really fit with what the theme of the movie or the theme of the story in general is. Where because you right off the bat, he looks like an asshole. He looks you don't sympathize with him at all in the beginning of the movie.
He doesn't even know how to interact with his family.
Exactly.
Like a normal person.
It's very awkward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like which kind of takes you out of the what could have been a really cool dynamic of the movie. But once all that stuff happens and he is who he's supposed to be in the movie, no one does it better. I mean, his whole career was based off of what this movie was, what this character was for him. He's got that that evil evil
And
smirk.
he's just
kinda.
coming off of a few years earlier doing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
Right.
Nest too,
Right.
which
Which
really
is another
established
yeah.
him as playing an insane kind of character.
He's so likable in that movie, though. One
He
Flew Over
is.
the Cuckoo's Nest. He's like a really likable character.
Yeah,
and,
because he's only
you
pretending to
root
be
for him.
insane.
Yeah, I root for him in that movie. I don't
Yeah.
know why. It's weird watching him drive the car with his kid, and he's like smiling real weird. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He saw it on the television.
Yeah, right. You're like, this dude's nuts.
But this is one of the first horror movies that I remember seeing. Like I remember seeing this relatively young. There's not a lot of horror movies that I watched when I was younger.
Same here, D.
And so it stuck with me and it got to me, and it probably was what pushed me towards being afraid of horror movies until I met Mark. So I
think it was this one and The Exorcist for me.
It was this and Nightmare on Elm Street. Like those two movies really, but it's such a I like it, and I do revisit it more often. I still find myself enjoying it as much as I do.
Yeah, I like a handful of Stanley Kubrick films, so I appreciate him as a director. He's not one of my favorites. Wouldn't necessarily say he's overrated, but I can see why people would not like him. He's got a following. Nobody can do a movie like him, whether you love him or hate him. I always like directors that have that characteristic about them. And so I've got to give him credit for that. In terms of this movie, I am a huge Jack Nicholson fan, always have been. And if I am to watch this movie, it's just because of him. His performance is so good. What Stephen King said about him, I agree with. What everybody has said tonight about this movie, I agree. It is slow. It's tedious at times. I really don't like any of the other I like Scatman Crothers, but I think he's wasted.
Yeah.
I don't really like any of the other characters.
Yeah.
I find myself rooting for Jack Nicholson, which is what you're not supposed to do.
No, I know.
So
Danny is so annoying.
Danny is annoying. Shelley Duvall, I think her acting is terrible in this.
And she's a good actress.
Yeah, she's okay. I
Yeah.
mean, she's fine. I'm sure. I've seen her in other things. She's fine. But just in this, it's just like I want to smack her, and I know that's the wrong thing. She's just I don't know. Anyway, but what I can tell you is that if Jack Nicholson weren't in this film, I probably would not watch it. I would not. I do love the cinematography. I love the music. I like the touring the hotel personally because again, it is a character in the film. Like Brian said, I do agree with that. But I also agree with you. By the third act, get on with it. Scatman Crothers taking forever and we'll get to it in the category.
It becomes smaller. The hotel becomes smaller and smaller as the film goes on.
Yeah.
Where you only get the how grand it is when you're seeing from the outside. You're like, wow, this place is fucking huge.
Yeah.
Which I think that's part of it. Is it's supposed to feel that claustrophobic
right.
kind of.
Yeah.
It's closing in on them.
Yeah.
But
sure.
I watch this probably every couple of years. Doesn't make the rotation that often. It's not on a top 10 of mine or anything like that. I think it's a good movie. I do. And but there are other movies I like better. But I think this is an awesome Jack Nicholson film. If you're rating Jack Nicholson performances, this is at the top.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's coming off of Cuckoo's Nest and Chinatown, 2 movies I absolutely love. And, for those, and I've heard people say, oh, is it the same in every movie? No, you just put those 3 performances together and you can see how great an actor Jack Nicholson really was in his prime.
Yeah.
And, so that's my
That happens with the greats, I feel like.
It does.
They become
After
so
a while,
good, they just become parodies of themselves.
yeah, and you
But
kind
you're
of got
absolutely
that
right.
with the later films. Although I will say there's a film in the 90s called The Crossing Guard with David Morse. Directed by Sean Penn, which never gets talked about. It's a phenomenal Jack Nicholson performance. I highly recommend everybody see this movie.
That one and The Pledge.
The Pledge is also very good. And also...
They came out like one after the other, too, I believe.
Well, with Sean Penn, it was Robin Wright at the time they were together. They're both in these movies. I like The Pledge a lot, but I think The Crossing Guard is one of Jack Nicholson's most underrated performances that you'll probably never hear about. Go see that
I saw
movie.
that once.
Oh, it's great. It's so good. Powerful drama.
Way back in the day.
So,
categories.
Categories?
Let's get into
Okay, let's do it.
Do it.
Favorite scenes, gentlemen. Who wants to go?
Brian, you want to start us off?
I think I'm going to have to go with when they're being chased in the labyrinth at the end. Yeah, and Danny has to retrace his steps to evade Jack. It's a great scene.
Smart
exactly.
Son. Yeah, it's very cool.
He's backing and he's walking backwards to make it look like he's actually walking in his footsteps backwards, so Jack doesn't realize that he's not where he is.
Yeah, where was that common sense 2 hours ago?
Yeah, exactly. But no, I've always liked that scene. I've always liked that scene.
It's very cool, especially the way it's lit up.
Yeah.
Where they have the lights and the hedges. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I got a couple. I really like the opening credits. I just don't like the credits rolling in the opening credits.
Oh, you don't like that? See,
no, I
like
think
that.
it's like
Like
this
full credits.
Yeah, it's like it's beautiful. Like that entire scene of him, the shots of him driving up to the hotel, I think are phenomenal.
Do you find the credits distracting?
It bothers me.
Gotcha.
I don't know. It
pulls you out of the movie
a bit.
Yeah.
It seems kind of like low rent. I almost feel like if they were just like appearing and disappearing off the screen, I would like that better. But how they're rolling, I just can't. It bothers me. Because it is such a really beautiful shot of that car from like, overhead. I really like the scene with Danny and Scatman Carruthers when he's explaining The Shining and talking about his grandmother and how it works. And when he looks at him and he says, "How about some ice cream?" And it seems like it could be real creepy, but it's not.
I got some popsicles in
he
the
looks
rain.
good, especially with the music. As much as I like
Get
it,
over
it
here
throws
with
me
your
a little bit
mushroom.
because you get some of those like when he's like, "How about some ice cream?" And it's like, and it's like, "Oh, is he gonna try to kill this kid?" My favorite scene in the movie is Lloyd, him at the bar.
Oh,
Talking
yeah.
to Lloyd, the bartender.
Yep.
I think
Lloyd is awesome.
A phenomenal scene, and he's all over the place. It's really entertaining, and Lloyd's doing just enough to like stay like toe for toe with Jack Nicholson, and it just works. It just works really, really well. I think that's so fun. And just like a small, I just think this is hilarious. But like Scatman Carruthers' bedroom with the 2 naked chicks on the wall with the afros, it's just awesome.
There's a seedy side to Scatman.
Boobs. He maybe lives on a houseboat.
Boobs.
He maybe lives on a houseboat,
Yeah,
and he's got
he's-
like naked chicks. There's like paintings of fucking Cleopatra Jones on his wall
With amazing froze.
afros.
I mean, the froze are incredible.
I wrote naked ladies with amazing afros.
Yeah.
on my phone.
He does. He's got it. I can see it.
But the Lloyd the scene with him and Lloyd when they're talking, I absolutely love that. That's my favorite scene.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jack at the bar. I just have it with Lloyd. Kind of slow in here, Lloyd. We have it in
we
our
do.
Drink Till It's
Yep.
Good
Yep.
intro. I love monologues that involve drinking or drunken monologues. And this is right up there with one of my favorite, and that's Jimmy Stewart drunk in the Philadelphia Story.
Yeah,
It's
which
this
is
back
also
and
in our
forth.
intro for.
That's right.
Yeah.
We put both of them in there because they're both favorites of mine. And he just pulls you in with this performance. He does through the whole movie, but this particular moment is my favorite. It's what I think of whenever anybody mentions the movie. I like how he's looking at the audience. I love the sudden like mood changes, the laughing 1 second, and nothing I can't hit. I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah. And Lloyd's expression never changes.
No.
Never changes.
Yeah.
No, and
He's brilliant.
I love it. I can't say enough about how great that scene is. If there's a reason that I love this,
You brought up the actor that plays Lloyd in something else. Or one of you did.
It wasn't me because I was trying to remember what
Joe Turkel.
Joe Turkel.
He's
He was
in,
in Blade Runner.
Yeah, he's a doctor.
That's what it is. Okay.
But somebody else said something, and I was like, oh, all right. But I know him from Blade Runner.
That's
played
my
Tyrell.
favorite. If I had a runner-up, just
Yep.
thinking about it, I think it's when after he loses his cool with Wendy, and then he's staring out the window, and he's got the scariest look on his face. And there's this light beaming in on him, like it's without saying anything. You know, okay, yep, he's gone.
Yeah.
He is now officially
Jack's not here anymore.
Yeah, right. It's all play now. The work is he's no longer dull.
Yeah.
There you go. Derek?
I too got to go with the bar scene.
Amazing.
And well, not just the bar scene, but also the scene with Grady. The 2 scenes with Grady.
Yeah.
Just watching the house. I mean, with the hotel manipulate him. I love it. I love what these ghosts represent and what they're doing to him, and pushing him over the edge of his sanity. All that like watching him lose his mind slowly is my favorite thing about this movie.
Yeah.
And I also the whole stalking scene with him chasing Wendy between like the bat going backwards up the stairs and up to the room. The whole sequence is just like chilling, and it's really the only part of the movie that I do like Shelley Duvall in. And it's funny because I'm not a big fan of how they portrayed the Wendy character in this movie.
Same.
I like that in the book she's more independent. She's not someone you would picture being abused. Like she would not put up with this type of abuse. Whereas Shelley Duvall is just so meek.
Yeah.
And,
mousy.
Yeah, which works for this sequence. Like this sequence, if you're gonna do this and you're gonna have him be this like scary fucking guy, then yes, like I want her to be scared. I want her to be terrified, and it creates that dread feeling. But the rest of the movie, yeah, she's just it's just she never loses that character.
Her strong moments though seem like her swinging the bat at the top of the stairs. Is you let her connect on one of those.
Yeah,
like, dude, what are you doing?
She's so choked up there. Her hand, she's holding the bat with like 3 inches of bat left.
Yeah.
It's like she's never held a bat in her
No,
life.
I know.
Like, this was the first time ever.
Like she's just terrified.
Yeah, she definitely is.
Nice.
Bitch.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, Shelley. I like
scared her ass right out of acting.
Hated scenes.
Hated scenes.
Yeah, scene that you don't like.
Least favorite.
I think a lot of the scenes with Danny.
You little fucker.
No, I know he's integral to the story, but I think the actor that was playing him was just so annoying, and every time I see him on screen, I'm like, oh, it's him
the bowl
again.
haircut, isn't it?
I know that was the style back then too. I probably had that haircut too.
You did.
I did. Quinn was just showing you pictures of me. I think they were just too drawn out. Like all the scenes of him like going on the big wheel through the hotel. Granted, like I think on his second pass was when he encounters the twins, and the elevator with the blood. But I mean, there's just so much of that.
Yeah.
And him playing with his trucks on the rug and stuff. I think a lot of that could have been gotten rid of or shortened at least. I think a lot of that was unnecessary.
I wouldn't agree with you. Or I would have liked to see more like, I don't know, I guess there's no opportunity in the movie for that figure to kind of teach him more about what it all means.
A scat man, you mean?
Yeah, so he's just kind of like things happen and they just happen. And he
Yeah.
knows it's called The Shining, but only because this guy made up the word The Shining, his grandmother. My least favorite scene, I want to fucking punch my TV. Shelley Duvall on the walkie-fucking-talkies.
Yep.
Over. Okay. Over. Over. It's like, dude, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. It felt like I was watching it for a half hour. Over.
You probably were.
Over. It was like, what the fuck? I hated it.
I did. Yeah. I don't like her acting in that either. She sounds like she has special needs when she's talking on this radio.
She looks like
no offense, but that's what she sounds. No, it's just the delivery of it is. Oh, really? Well, I
Over.
thought it was that storm looked pretty bad. Over. Yeah.
They're going back and forth. Like a couple
Where
of
is
idiots.
Jack with the axe? that's what you don't want. And oh, God, are we mean?
No, it's a
That's
fucking awful. It's
yeah,
awful.
it is.
It's
That's
an
your
awful
least
scene.
favorite. Yeah.
It's an awful scene.
I'm going to go with Scatman Crothers slowly making his way back to the hotel after what?
No,
what
that's
is
true,
it?
too.
2 phone calls, maybe?
Yeah.
Again, like Shelley Duvall. Well, I was wondering if you heard anything else about that. Dude, you have The Shining. You know something is going to happen.
Well, that's the thing too. He in reality, he never would have left. Like
Yeah.
I feel like he would have stayed. Been like, you know what?
They need me.
Yeah. This guy's something bad's gonna happen.
Right.
This kid is in danger. I'm gonna protect
but let's
him.
say he's not 100% with his Shining,
Yeah.
only at 80% best. You still should know that if you're not hearing from the family, I better get my ass up there.
Do you think it would have been a better movie if he had stayed, hid in the basement somehow, knowing that he would be able to, stay out of their way, but be able to save them when the time was right, but then the hotel was fucking with him?
Yes, I do.
I think
do.
that would have made
Yeah.
for a better movie.
Mhm.
And he's battling his own demons down wherever he's hiding.
Mhm.
Maybe he's in a room somewhere on one of the floors, way out of their way.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Getting chased by
have
a
to be
guy
the
with his
basement.
ass hanging out of a bear costume.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No. Is it a bear? I always thought it was
Oh,
a
dog.
I thought it was a
it's a
dog.
dog.
too.
I thought it was a
I think
bear.
it- I
No,
think
but
we-
when you said bear earlier, you know what it makes me think of is that new Winnie the Pooh movie.
Oh, Blood and Honey.
Like that costume looks like it was based on this.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe.
Like, oh, maybe
Blood
it
and
is a
Honey.
bear.
It's just there. I guess it's a bear dog. It's a dog bear. It's whatever it is.
Cocaine dog.
Cocaine dog bear.
Oh, bother.
I'm sorry. That was mine.
I gotta. I mean, even though everybody loves the scene, and it's one of the most iconic scenes of it is the room 237 scene. It just always bothered me.
Is
Oh,
this
with the
naked
lady?
Yeah.
Mm.
Like
Oh.
once it's
Gives me the
just
fucking
and
creeps.
she's like hobbling towards them and all the
Skin is falling
bed
off.
sore looking
Yeah.
things and it's so nasty.
Oh, that's like looking in a mirror for me. Oh, sorry, Derek.
Yeah, so that and now that you mentioned it, the walkie-talkie scene
Totally.
is pretty
It's
fucking
bad,
terrible.
man.
It really is
Totally.
maddening. Yeah.
That was one of those like, fuck Kubrick. What the fuck? Like, no. No.
And knowing Kubrick, that was like probably take 500 too.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
I think we could use another over in this scene.
Well, there's the whole
We get the
famous
script girl over here.
There's the whole famous thing that Kubrick and Shelley Duvall hated one
Oh,
another.
yeah.
He
made life a living
supposedly
hell
he made
for
a
her.
living hell for
Yeah.
her. So
I heard that too.
It wouldn't surprise me by that point with the over. He's just like, do whatever you want. I just want to be done with you. Or maybe she just stopped.
One
I
take.
don't
We're
know.
going with that.
Yeah,
Okay. Cut, print. Let's
I
go.
have no
Is the
idea.
lady in
gate.
the tub the guy's wife?
What?
Is that supposed
Which
to be
guy?
his wife? The guy that killed
Grady's
his daughters?
wife?
No.
The before or after? The before the
I
bed
don't know.
sores?
Either one.
Maybe.
Just the
Maybe,
ghost.
yeah.
The ghost in that
I
one.
would imagine.
I don't think it is.
No, it isn't. Oh.
No, because I think that 237.
Random lady.
That's
It's just the room itself.
yeah. I think that there's other things that have happened in that hotel.
That scene
and
always
that
grossed
is
me
one-
out
yeah.
too. I don't
It's
hate
just-
this scene. It's gross.
Yeah, it is gross.
Fucking gross.
Yep.
I kind of agree with you, Derek. I think it just
And they recreated
goes
almost
on and
shot
on.
for shot in
Yeah.
Ready Player One.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, naked lady. I didn't mean.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And they
man.
revisited in Doctor Sleep, didn't they?
Yeah, they
Well,
do.
yeah.
Because he lives in their old apartment,
Right.
And she's in the tub at certain points.
It just takes her so long to get out of the tub, even
Yeah.
before she's old. When she's young and naked and attractive, it
Well,
takes
it's
her
weird because she's walking
then you
around, but
don't
she's
mind.
also in the tub at the same time. Like she's in the tub, but she's also walking around outside of the tub. They're like cutting back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
The
I don't like
documentary.
being like when they use titties in movies
Yeah.
and then fucking throw a
Yeah.
fucking curveball at you with some rotting ones. You're like,
You like these? These are sexy, aren't they? Oh, bam! Oh, made you look.
So the documentary Room 237 that I watched last night instead of rewatching this movie, they brought up a lot of stuff that I had never noticed before, and it's been a while since I've seen this movie. But you were talking earlier about the tour through the hotel. And they were talking at one point where Jack goes in to meet the hotel manager for the first time.
Oh,
and
yes.
to accept the job.
Yeah.
And there's that window behind him.
Yep.
And they're like, if you follow Danny on his trip on the big wheel, and he goes down that hallway and then makes a left and then makes another left, he should be behind that room. There's no window there. So right then and there, is Jack already imagining things? Is he already going crazy?
Oh, interesting.
Jack's typewriter changes color from white at the very beginning to like a dark gray, almost black color towards the end of the movie.
It's a mold problem. That's why my shower does the same
Chairs
thing.
in the background when Jack is typing disappear and reappear. And they're like, this is a Kubrick movie. He would know if there was a continuity problem of all people. So it had to have been done on purpose.
Yeah.
That things are in the background are changing color and disappearing, and things aren't supposed to be like. So it's all designed to give you a sense that something is off.
Yeah.
Oh, that I can buy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That I can definitely buy.
And it's things like that make me love the movie.
I do appreciate those kinds of like when somebody takes the time to work all that out.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is brilliant.
Yep.
That's what makes Kubrick.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's kind of a snooze to get through after a while.
You can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too there, Mikey.
Yeah, it's true. I've tried.
What would I change? Who would I change?
I would. No, go ahead, Brian.
We can all agree on Shelley.
Yeah, either Danny and or Shelley. I think we could probably change those out for different actors.
I would at least change her character up a bit if she
That's
had
what
to
I
be
went
in
with.
it.
Yeah.
Go
What,
more
you mean
toward the
if
book.
you had to
Give her a
keep
look-
Shelley?
If you had to keep Shelley, rewrite that
Oh, yeah.
character. Give her some strength.
And apparently,
You know.
the screenwriter has said that in interviews that she did have scenes that she had written that.
Oh, I
kinda
did. Yeah.
Flesh her out
I
more
read
and
something
make
like
her
that
a little
too.
bit stronger, and that Kubrick. Just cut them.
was having none of
Yeah,
it.
because he could barely stand to have her on screen. Or
Well, there you go. Sorry to cut you off there, Brian.
No.
It's like, why cast her?
Yeah,
Cast someone
well,
else.
that's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, why the
Get
fuck?
Bo
you're the
Derek- get Bo
director.
Derek in there.
You
Bo Derek
basically
would've
got a
been
movie
good.
with 4 characters. Why have like a quarter of your cast be somebody that you can't stand?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Those are the two things. Is I don't like Danny either. I actually would be okay with like a young Corey Feldman. I feel he's around
wow.
the right age.
There you go.
Yeah.
About 9
Well, yeah,
Gremlins.
this kid kind of looked
Gremlins
like a
Corey
mutated
Feldman.
Corey
I'll
Feldman.
take a
bit.
Gremlins
Yeah.
Corey Feldman. He's probably a little bit better of an actor.
Yeah.
Well, Friday the 13th, Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
I like Michelle Pfeiffer and maybe a Kim Basinger for a Wendy.
Even better.
Oh, God.
I think I would like that a little.
I
bit
would not
better.
be rooting for Jack Nicholson if it was Michelle Pfeiffer. I wouldn't say that. You know.
Yeah, and you probably get you could get something.
Back then, I
stronger
could
and-
picture a Barbara Hershey.
Oh, Barbara Hershey. I
I
like
could picture
that.
Barbara Hershey.
I like Barbara Hershey. And they can. I feel like all 3 of those actors can convey some kind
Yeah.
of strength,
Yeah.
which
Right.
Shelley
Yeah.
Duvall is seriously lacking.
Or if you're not going for like the super gorgeous, get like Mia Farrow involved or something.
Diane,
like that.
or Diane Keaton.
Diane
Oh,
Keaton.
yeah.
would've been a-
Diane Keaton would have been.
Yes.
I like
yeah,
that too.
Off The Godfather too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Were you finished?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anything else that anybody?
No,
would
I
change
think we-
it?
Yeah,
We're
I
all
think we
kinda
covered it.
agreed
Yeah,
on
I'm on
that
the
one.
same page with that one.
Things that might not work today.
Domestic abuse.
I mean, it's still very real. So I think I think if they made it today, it'd be more focused on that. It'd be more and I think that
What, to drive the point home, you mean?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
And-
I mean, it's what the movie's about.
Right.
There's no getting around it. But
about
it's
the
still,
alcoholism and the,
Oh, yeah.
and the abuse.
I mean, it's still problems that resonate today. I don't.
Yeah, I got to go with that one too, but I think that they wouldn't have as much of it today. Or again, they would write Shelley Duvall's character a little more independent, a little stronger.
Yeah.
I said the same thing. I would imagine Wendy would have been more hero than victim.
Yeah.
And would have been the one to give Jack his comeuppance.
She would have at least put up
instead
a
of
fight.
Danny being
Yeah.
the one that outran him and outsmarted him. She would have been the one that
Yeah. Well, I
it
would
would've
have
been
liked to
about
have
her.
seen that. Because
Well,
she
how
has
was it in the
moments
book?
where she hits him over the head with the bat.
Yeah.
She's got a couple of moments. They just aren't convincing to me.
Yeah.
I think you can have her be a little bit stronger in those moments, but still have Danny, save the day at the end or save himself.
But here's where the movie falls
But make it a little
because
smarter.
Jack Nicholson goes crazy pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
And red flags have been going up throughout this whole movie for Shelley or Duvall or Wendy rather to get the kid and get the hell out of there. And the fact that she stays, I don't think would work today. I don't think audiences would
that's
buy
true.
it because it's like, you recognize this, right? This again, if it's
because
if it's
it would
close
make
to-
you root against her because you're like, what a horrible fucking mother. Get the hell out of the house.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
Jack is crazy and you're
Right.
keeping your son in there. Exactly. Now, if this were truer to the novel and this wasn't Jack Nicholson, this was another actor, this was the Jack Torrance that Stephen King envisioned, and the craziness happened over time.
Actually, like I think Jack Ritter might have been really good.
John Ritter.
John Ritter.
John Ritter
yes,
would have been
really
awesome.
good.
Yes.
Like, if we were going like something else.
Right.
But sorry.
No. That's fine, and I agree. That would be good. The fact that he's already unhinged, and it doesn't take long for him to. That first blow up with the typewriter would be enough for him to say, her to say, all right, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah.
You know? And even after she thinks he hurts him, when Danny walks in the room, you did that. She stays.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get it.
Well, Danny tells her the truth.
That's right.
That's a fucking, which is the thing that doesn't work for me. Naked old bitches in tubs does not work for me today. Okay, America, I don't want to see him. Great segue, Mark. Thanks for setting that one up for me.
That's how we roll. I guess.
I fucking hate that scene. I don't hate it because it's scary. It's scary as fuck.
You just don't like. Oh my God. Just don't like old people.
It's like that shower scene in The Faculty when the old lady's showering.
Oh,
and her hair
Mrs. Rumble,
like sloughs
whatever
off.
the hell her name is. Oh God.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's not a tub. That's a shower, though.
That's that's just as bad.
Just as bad. So wet old women.
Wet old things sloughing off. We don't want to see it.
We don't want to see it.
Not today. We don't. We just don't.
What wouldn't work today, Tito?
Some old ass.
Her bush goes up to her belly button.
Do we miss anybody?
No.
Were we on? Okay, cool.
Award for what are you doing in this movie? What we got?
I went with the dog blowing the well-dressed man because it just is out of nowhere, and it's like
Winnie the Pooh.
It's definitely the what the fuck moment of the movie. I never understood like what the point of that.
I don't think
was.
you're supposed to.
Yeah.
It's just Kubrick's a fucking perv. I think.
I went Tony Burton.
Same.
Yeah.
Rocky's Tony and Assault on Precinct 13.
I went
Tony
Duke for
Burton.
Rocky, but fucking, that's very surprising. The dog blowing a fucking maitre d'
Burton.
on a bed.
The dog blowing Tony
Ever
Burton
so
would have
politely.
been.
Yeah, that would have been even. And Grady's just so very regal while he's receiving his blowjob. He's just sitting there very like,
The English.
Yeah.
They're very dapper.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's all very posh.
Who didn't go?
Almost.
Brian?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Ooh.
It's a small cast.
It is a small cast. It's now I'm really trying to, like, the only one I can think of that I recognize was the hotel manager's assistant, the little guy that barely said anything.
Who is that? He looked
He
familiar.
was the one that was in Jesus Christ Superstar. He played Pontius Pilate. That's the only thing.
Oh,
I
wow.
know. Yeah, so I would go with
deep
him.
cut.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll give that one to Brian.
Yeah. That was tough. Good.
Well, it's hard to beat a guy
I
in a
know.
dog suit.
I'm like,
Let's
but
not
I don't know who
forget
the
his ass is
actor
hanging
was.
out.
So
Right.
couldn't recognize
His
him through the
butt
dog
flap
mask.
is open.
I know I've seen that ass somewhere before. I just can't place it.
Grady's sniffing it because he's dressed as a dog.
You'll be shocked to find that the man in the dog costume was Gene Kelly.
Wasn't it really?
Spared no
not at all.
expense.
We spared no expense.
I'm singing in the
The dog giving you a blowjob is Gene Kelly.
Now you're going back to Clockwork Orange there, Mark.
That was the autoerotica.
That's what we do.
Best favorite quotes. What do we got?
Oh, I keep forgetting this is a category.
Yeah. Wendy, light of my life, I'm not trying to hurt you. I just want to bash your fucking brains in.
Bash him right the fuck in. That's my favorite as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the one that always
I
stuck
love
out with
that
me.
quote.
Kind of slow in here a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's a good one, too.
Nothing I can handle. No, that's a separate part, but I like that quote.
Yeah.
I went for one of the, I don't know why I like this so much, but a momentary loss of muscular coordination. I think it's just a great line. When he's talking about grabbing Danny and hurting him.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just a momentary loss of muscular coordination.
I also like words of wisdom, Lloyd. Words of wisdom. Just the way he does that.
I like over.
Over,
Over.
I thought that storm looked bad. Over. Clarence over. All I can think of was
under,
airplane.
over, done.
Roger. What's the vector, Victor?
Oh my god! And the only other thing was when he makes the comment to Lloyd about the white man's burden, and I didn't understand the reference, and I Googled it, and I spent like 20 minutes reading about that because I didn't get. It's like some reference to Rudyard Kipling.
Yeah.
And like colonialism and colonialism.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Which is I think where like the native fucking is this the first movie built on a first movie that they did that something was built
on an Indian burial ground? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, you don't mess with that. Lou Diamond Phillips will see to that. Yeah.
I don't think the cemetery was that big. It probably wasn't the size of a fucking hotel. It was probably like a small part.
Bodies, you only move the headstones.
How does it stack up? What are we thinking against other Kubrick films? Horror? What would you?
It's up there for Kubrick films.
Yeah, I agree. Up there for Kubrick.
And it's I'd say mid-range for Jack. There's a lot of other things with him that I like a lot more.
I'd have to
go, as far as Jack
I would have to
Nicholson
go upper with Jack for me. Mid to upper. Definitely not at the bottom.
No, not at all.
Joker Jack is my first real Jack experience, and then it's like A Few Good Men after that, as good as it gets. So
which is Eastwick.
Right.
Like,
so I didn't see One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, this, or Chinatown until I was like almost 30.
Yeah.
And they're phenomenal movies, but that like 89 Batman moving forward is like the Jack Nicholson that I know best.
Gotcha.
But this is probably top Jack Nicholson performances.
There's no mid for me. It's up, and then there's those last few performances in the last few films where I'm like, oh, he's phoning it in. That's really what it is.
I would say I think this movie's kind of middle of the pack Kubrick. I would prefer Clockwork Orange.
Agreed.
Or Full Metal Jacket. The first time I saw that movie, I was like amazed, and then I watched it like for like 3 months straight. Like I kept watching it. I thought it was amazing.
I trail off at the second. I trail off at the second half of it.
Oh, when they actually get to Vietnam after.
Once Vincent D'Onofrio's gone, the movie does kind of slow down for me. It's good.
Yeah.
But that first half of the movie cannot be.
With Arlie Ermy as the drill sergeant.
Fucking good.
He's
perfect.
Arlie is fucking awesome. But yeah, that movie and the Paint It Black and first time I ever heard that song. I hate movies about war. I'm just like not a fan of movies about war, and I fucking love that movie when it came out. When I finally did see it. So maybe this movie's middle of the pack for me, Kubrick wise.
Well, it's one of those things like Full Metal Jacket, Apocalypse Now. They're anti-war movies. I mean, the war movies that I don't like are the ones that kind of glorify the Hollywood war film, like the Western, right? They're all the heroes. They're all the John Wayne
propaganda, trying to get people
they're all
to
the
get
super
behind
soldiers.
the war.
Right, exactly. And again,
that's why I
Full
like
Metal
that movie.
Jacket is like, no, war is disgusting. It's horrific. People do terrible things, and on both sides, and that's what I like. I like. That kind of
good
stuff.
people are sent over to die.
Right, right. Anybody?
What about you, Brian?
Oh, Brian.
No, I kind of agree with you guys as far as if it's a Jack Nicholson comparison. It's up there. It's very close to the top. He's just brilliant as the going slowly crazy, psychotic kind of guy. And as far as if it's a Kubrick kind of film, it's mid pack.
What about like Stephen King or horror in general? Because this is like at the top of a lot of people's
for Stephen King
horror
adaptations.
For me,
there have been better and there have been worse. I would say middle.
I would say middle as a Stephen King adaptation. Yeah.
So would I.
There's a handful of them that I think are better.
See, I think it's more towards the top for me.
For you?
Only because I think that there's so many adaptations of Stephen King movies that aren't very good.
Oh, agreed.
Oh, there's a lot.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really
okay.
I like the books. I've read like most of his books and I love them. And I don't often see them being done justice.
Right.
So much so that you end up getting movies like books of his that were made into movies a while ago that get remade. It's like, all right.
Oh yeah, they come.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But horror wise, is it? Because it's a
horror wise in general.
Yeah, as far as The Shining is concerned.
Yeah, it's a good horror flick. I mean, it's in I would say it's good, but it's not one of my favorites.
No.
Like me personally, it would be once every couple of years, I'll revisit it. I think it's good, but I can think of a ton of horror movies.
Well, this is what Brian was saying as far as like this, and you said Exorcist.
Exorcist.
They feel like movies that are like quintessential in
horror,
like, the horror genre.
Yeah,
synonymous.
And
synonymous with
And this one, if I had to categorize it, and I don't know if I'm using this term, this one would almost be like an elevated type of horror. It just seems to operate on a higher level for some reason. It's a very intellectual film.
Yeah.
So much can be read into it, and so much has been read into it too.
Yeah.
But I think it's still like it's up there for horror.
Oh, no, there are definitely some very scary things in this. And
as much as I love this movie, and as many times as I've seen it, I still would not watch this downstairs in my living room alone.
I was just going to say the same thing, because this movie conveys such a sense of dread, and it's consistent all the way through the movie.
And I
it
know
does
what's
not
coming.
Let up.
I know the sights. I know the sounds, but I would still be uncomfortable sitting alone watching it in the dark. Like it probably because of how long ago I saw it originally and
the effect it had on
right.
then.
And I can see why people dissect it the way that they have.
Oh yeah,
and I granted I saw that documentary yesterday, and I did not agree with like 90% of what these people were trying to read into this movie. I'm like, you're reaching. Yeah. You are reaching. You are just being
wearing their tinfoil hats.
You were just being you were just being a pretentious intellectual like dickhead, and you were.
They all like Skinnamarink.
Oh no, nowhere near Skinnamarink.
I feel like a lot of like film, not all of them, but like a lot of film scholars and film historians really, really try to polish a turd in certain things, and they try to make something bigger than it is.
Right.
And the best example is the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where everybody and their mother in that department would say, "Oh, this is the ultimate allegory for communism. It's fear of communism."
Yeah.
If you look at this movie, and they're still saying it, but the writer of the film and director were both, and Kevin McCarthy, they were all interviewed, and they said no, that never came up once.
Yep.
Now, whether they were trying to avoid political debate, to this day, though, well, not anymore, he's passed away, but up until the very end, Kevin McCarthy has always denied Don Siegel ever saying, we want to make this in reference to communism. No, it's just a great sci-fi movie.
When you're saying that, I'm thinking of a quote by Doctor Who, David Tennant's Doctor Who. He says, "That's what I love about humans. They're always seeing patterns that aren't there."
Exactly. He's right. Yeah.
I like that.
Except the Home Alone fan theories. Those are all
legit. They're all legit. MVP, gentlemen.
Jack.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack.
Clean sweep.
Yep. Followed by Scatman Crothers.
Shelley Duvall.
Over.
I feel like we covered this a little bit in the last, but does it make your rotation?
Every couple of years.
Yeah, it's been such a long time for me though. But I mean, if it was on, I would probably watch it.
There you go.
Yeah. I wouldn't go out of my way to put it on though. I think, but if it was on, I would watch it.
I would take the long way home too.
All right. If you made a sequel, how would it go?
Well, there has been a sequel.
So it got one.
Well,
Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
I like Dr. Sleep.
I like Dr. Sleep too.
I would have liked to see a prequel about the roots of evil at the Overlook. I even said like maybe even a single season show with
that would be good.
And each episode would focus on the story of
and they could call it Room 237.
Yeah, like in one of the ghosts or one of the
make it
scary
like,
things about
like
it.
13 ghosts, and then like focus on each one.
And then I would want the finale to be about like that first, like what created the evil in the first place.
Yeah.
What the entity.
Yeah.
What was that Hulu series that they had? I liked it, and they canceled it after 2 seasons.
Oh, Castle Rock.
Castle Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all the connecting universes.
Yeah, that might have been cool. I like the prequel idea too. I would have liked to have seen the origin of the word shining and him and his grandmother maybe growing up and what adventure. It seems like every experience he had with it was fairly positive.
Yeah.
Scatman Crothers' character. It's like this positive thing.
Or it just could have been his outlook on life anyway.
Oh, sure.
He's putting that spin on it because
I think, he gets
just the
some
way
help
he is.
from his grandmother. So I would have liked to have seen maybe her adventures, maybe their adventures, how he gets to Overlook and what draws him there. Maybe something like that. I like the prequel idea too. Though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I had the prequel idea as well, except for Grady. I would like to see how Grady got to where he was and his family and the twins.
Well, I think that would fall
Again,
into
in
what
series.
we were saying with like have it called like Room 237.
Like have an episode about the Grady's
I would like
and
to
like
see
focus
them
on a different
arrive.
like aspect,
Totally.
like a different ghost each episode or something.
Because I feel like a whole movie about Grady would probably be a little bit too much like this, because it would be the same type of.
Well, it wouldn't have to be as long, but I'm taking this from Amityville 2, The Possession, which tells about the first family before the Lutzes moved in. I'd like to see a movie like that.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. He sits at the end of the bed. He
Yeah.
unzips his pants.
Exactly.
And he pulls his penis
I want to
out.
know who's in that
and
bear
then the dog
costume.
does the
man.
rest.
It's the family dog.
Now I want to know, does he have to put peanut butter on it for the dog to really go towards it? Is that all part of the process? Because we know dogs and peanut butter.
Well, there's a human
They just can't
under
stop
there,
when that shit's
and
around.
it was what, the 70s?
Yeah.
Some LSD.
God knows how long they were there. It took Scatman a while to get to that hotel. He could have been sitting on the edge of that bed for hours, for all we know.
I like
He
how
did look like he was enjoying
Yes,
it.
he's been sitting on that bed for years.
Yeah.
I like how Scatman's shining powers does not work, much like Troy's power.
Oh, yeah. It's very
Next Generation.
convenient, isn't it? Yeah.
Conveniently, it just stops working when the
That's no
plot needs it to.
Poor guy.
That's it. He was a Betazoid this
He
whole
was a
time.
Betazoid.
There's my end credit
Yep.
scene right there.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Post-credit scene.
He had to marry Loex
There's
on
my
him.
post. I couldn't think of one, but there it is. Scatman Crothers lying dead from the axe wound, and then he's beamed aboard the Enterprise. And there are a bunch of Betazoids saying, well, you tried your best, and you failed miserably.
Beverly Crusher revives him, and he has to marry Loaxana.
For punishment. I gotta date this what woman? Oh.
She's so annoying. The only reason she's got the part is she's sleeping with the producer.
Derek?
In today's world, I think the shot of the photograph with him in it would be the end credit scene. Like, it would be the bonus scene. But I think that I think it would be cool to see flash forward. Danny and Wendy are starting their new life, and he sees
There was a scene cut out where they
Yeah.
where they were Danny and Wendy were
Right.
I think it was in the police station or something after all this happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I would have it like
Yep.
be at like
Over.
at wherever wherever they're living now, and him like, it's, I don't know, maybe like sees a vision of Jack, and tells his mom they want to go back. He wants to go back to the hotel or something. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
That's cool.
Like
That's kinda
it's
ominous.
him.
Yeah.
Like Jack's gone, but it's the hotel taking the form of Jack to try to lure them back.
Get them back in.
Because they, that entity wants the shinning.
Yeah, the shinning.
Shinning.
The shinning. I would focus on the hotel manager's office as the next season opens. It's now the fall, and he goes into his room, and on his typewriter it says, "Jack, all work and no play make Jack a dull boy," over and over and over again. Something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like it better.
I know that is kind of like, it makes you wonder. Okay, so what happened when they reopened? The
Right.
hotel?
Exactly.
Like,
is Jack still there?
Scatman's on the floor, dead.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
And
Now Jack's giving blowjobs to Grady, dressed as a dog.
next.
Scatman just gets up at the end of the credits
He
and
just
goes,
walks right out.
"Beep,
Yeah.
bop, 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 bop,
Yeah, he scats his way out.
bop, beep."
He backs
yeah.
out. He backs out, just scatting his way.
A little happy ending.
Slowly moonwalks right out the door.
Singing the Hong Kong Phooey theme.
My post-credit involved the two sisters, and they're just staring at the frozen head of Jack Nicholson. And
that's cool.
they're outside, and
One dares the other one to lick it.
I double dog dare you.
they're staring at it. They turn around, they start to skip away, and they're laughing
Yeah.
as they're skipping away.
That's cool. I
as
like
his head
that.
is frozen. And
Nice.
then just
Those
ends.
are all
'Cause
really
it's like
good
some
guys.
random shit. Nothing special, but that's it.
Cool.
Nice.
All right.
Any
Mine
final
is
thoughts?
my actual is at the ending credits. Danny walks to the camera with his finger up his Tony and says, "Are you still here? It's over.
Go home."
No, I really didn't have one. Great job, guys. Really good. I agree with Derek. I think the photo at the end would be right.
Like in this day and age.
Yeah. And I guess I can't remember where I saw this, but apparently in that picture he's posed like the devil. There's a famous picture of the devil posed with a hand one way and the other hand up like that, and Jack Nicholson is in that exact same pose.
Oh,
Interesting. Yeah. That's all I know.
Now, I'm curious as to, because there's a lot of different theories on the photograph and what it means. And so I'm curious as to what you guys think it is. Because I personally think it's like the house. A lot of people think that, that picture was always there and he's a reincarnation of a past person from there.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't in the picture. And like
he's been added.
He's been absorbed by the house.
That's
and
what
everyone
I
else.
thought.
Everyone else in the picture is another
Is
one
a
that's
past
gone
victim.
insane.
like the people, the skeletons sitting in the rooms or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who
It's a
randomly stumbles upon.
it's a trophy for the
Yeah.
hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a collection of souls.
That's what I always thought.
Cool. All right, well,
Yeah.
we're all agreed. I guess.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought
Nice.
Thought that'd be some debate.
No, that's a good one.
He's a devil, man.
Devil man.
He's a devil, man.
He's a devil.
Yeah, man.
Is there anything else? Is that The Shining?
That's The
Shining.
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 All right.
The Shining being The Shining.
We're all pretty much on the same page with this
I think
movie.
so.
Yeah, I think we are.
Worth seeing. Some will see it more than others, but it's got to be talked about. So, and we did.
If you haven't seen it, see it.
Yeah.
It's worth
Yeah.
it.
It's
Oh,
worth a
yeah.
watch.
No.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
Like Derek said, it's definitely an event film.
Yeah.
Appetizers. Who's got some appetizers? We started with
Appetizers.
Brian.
Appetizers.
Appetizers
No.
started the show.
Oh, I'm
Mark.
sorry.
Yeah.
Hey,
Making
welcome
our,
to Three Geeky Dads.
Geek flag. What's making our geek? It's wow. What's making our geek flag fly? Not appetizers. You have appetizers at the end. It's not
This is
appetizers.
dessert, Mark. This is dessert.
What? What happened?
It's my
Brian?
one beer. Brian, what?
You want me to start?
Yeah,
All right,
get
I'm
me
going
outta
to
here.
start. So I brought this up. I don't know if you guys all heard this, but I watched a documentary that I had seen once before, and I absolutely love it. It's a documentary called Tim's Vermeer from 2010. It's on Stars right now, and it's a documentary produced by Penn and Teller. The documentary is narrated by Penn and directed by Teller himself. And it tells the story of Penn Jillette's longtime friend, inventor Tim Jennison, who surprises Penn with the revelation that he has been secretly obsessed with the Dutch master painter Johannes Vermeer. And he sets out to try to paint just like Vermeer did, even though he himself has never painted in his life. But he comes up with this technique using mirrors, and he thinks that this is how Vermeer painted his stuff, because he says he's looking at all the Dutch master painters in Vermeer's, Vermeer's contemporaries. And he says nobody painted like Vermeer did. He almost seemed to like paint with light, like they say that what's the artist now that people say paints with light. But they said like he painted in such a way, like he says it's almost like a photograph. And he said there's no way he could have done it if he didn't like use a mirror and paint with a mirror. But he's like, and he shows this technique, and it's like simple in its brilliance, but the guy does it. Never painted a thing before in his life. And he takes a photograph of his father-in-law from like when he was in the army in the 20s, black and white photo. And he starts with this mirror at a 45-degree angle with the, aimed at the photograph, and he's painting so the colors match. He says he's trying to get it so like the edge of the mirror disappears. And he says, that way I know that I've got the tones right. And are you watching it now, Tito?
I'm just looking at pictures. That's genius.
And he does this one thing, and it ends up looking like a photograph of a photograph. And he just painted. And he says, this is the first time I've ever painted anything in my life. And they bring in Martin Mull. Penn brings in Martin Mull to look at it because Martin Mull's like an amateur painter. Yeah. And he says, what do you think? And, so Martin's like, wow, this is amazing. And he says, yeah, Tim says, it took me about a half an hour to figure out how to operate a paintbrush. And Martin Mull says, oh, congratulations. It only took me 40 years. But then what he does is he reconstructs the painting called The Music Lesson by Vermeer. And he rebuilds the entire room that was painted in his workshop, his garage, right down to every detail. And he paints it with this thing using what he calls the camera obscura, and that's show Mark and That's his Vermeer.
Wow.
Never painted before in his life.
Wow.
And this is what he comes up with at the end.
Jerk.
And he shows these art critics, and granted, a few of them already had like these theories that Vermeer might have been not really cheating, but using some kind of device to get these paintings the way that they look, because they're like, there's no way that the normal human eye would detect these gradations in light, that's filtering through a window, that Vermeer seemed to paint. And I'm not an artist, and I'm not really into like art, like classic art and stuff like that. But goddamn, if this documentary isn't fascinating as hell. Only about an hour and 20 minutes. It's on Stars, and I recommend you guys check it out because I think you, Mark, especially being an artist, will find this fascinating.
I'll definitely check it out.
I just bought it on Vudu.
Did you really?
I did.
All right.
It's
Well, we're
on there.
watching it later. But it's on Stars if you guys...
When did that happen?
I don't have Stars, so
Okay.
I just now.
You just thought it now? Now whenever you think a movie, it appears on your Voodoo?
He's got The Shining.
I went there and bought it.
The Shining of Voodoo.
You said it, and your phone is off, and it's sitting on the table.
Look at you.
I have it. It's
Look
Big
at
Brother.
you.
Like, what?
My phone was listening.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic little documentary. Please check it out. My other thing, I know I went long with the other one, but I'm going to keep this one short. The other thing that I saw was on Netflix called We Have a Ghost.
That looked kind of cool.
It was kind of cool. Anthony Mackie and his family move into a house that, unbeknownst to them, is haunted by a ghost that his youngest son sees in the attic, and he can't speak, but he moans, and he's wearing a bowling shirt that says the word Ernest on it, so they know his name is Ernest. It turns out that it's David Harbour plays the
David
ghost.
Harbour.
Cool.
Jesus.
And it's like the movie that you told us about last week, Tito, the Kid Detective. Funny at the beginning until it's not funny. So like the first half of this movie is like Anthony Mackie decides he's going to like profit off of like the fact that we've got to go. So he's like, he's taking pictures of him, putting it up on TikTok, and now people are coming to the house and he's charging tickets to see the ghost, But then his youngest son feels bad for him. He's like, we got to find out who this guy was, how he died, why is he stuck in our house, blah blah blah. And then it kind of turns into like a murder mystery kind of thing. The second half of the movie.
Jennifer Coolidge in that too?
Maybe.
I think I saw a trailer for it recently.
Yeah, you might be right.
It looked
It
funny.
was decent. Yeah. The first half is funnier than the second half, but it's still a pretty decent little movie. We all watched it on Friday night, family movie night.
Yay.
And Mandalorian season 3 starts today. Watched the first episode already, and it's fantastic.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, I can't wait to see
Yeah.
it.
I haven't seen anything new lately outside of reality television, which is a real bummer. Yeah, I don't know. My wife really likes reality TV, and if she'll start watching something, and then I sit, and then I'm like, this is so stupid. And then I watch like 12 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say,
So,
4
like,
hours later.
Yeah, so I watched the entire first season of Hell's Kitchen.
Oh God!
over the
that
weekend.
show, it's addictive.
It is addictive.
It totally is.
I haven't watched that in so long, but I used to love that show.
Top Chef was mine.
Yeah, I watched all of that, and then she was watching some shows, some like Paradise Island, where like beautiful people like try to screw each other over while they screw each other. And, but earlier, Quinn played Feel Good Inc., or at least the very beginning.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
And it reminded me something that is making my geek flag fly, and it's going to be March 3rd. Up until this point, De La Soul's music has not been streamable anywhere.
Right.
You cannot buy their music, you cannot download it, you cannot stream it, but they got the rights back to their music, and starting March 3rd, you'll be able to get everything they've ever had. So I'm pretty excited for that. So that's definitely making my geek flag fly.
Nice.
And Gordon, a little bit of Gordon Ramsay.
Is she watching Dance Moms?
No, you know what? My daughter likes Dance Moms.
My
She
daughter
loves
and wife are
JoJo
watching.
Siwa.
Oh Jesus!
Love that JoJo Siwa.
They're watching Dance Moms.
I thought that name was made up. I thought I was like, wow, that's
Joey
JoJo Siwa. I thought it was a made up.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, she's a girl.
Wasn't that a Richard Pryor movie? This Is Your Life, JoJo Siwa?
This is
Oh, wait, it's JoJo dancing.
Hold me closer, JoJo's dancing. Well, you had a nice movie for family movie night. For our family movie night, we watched Megan, and goddamn,
that's a good movie,
It's
though.
a great movie. We watched the rated version because Livy wanted to see it too. And
You saw the unrated version?
No, we saw the rated version.
Oh,
I
okay.
gotta see the unrated
Yeah,
version.
I'm pissed because I bought the PG-13 one, and now they're coming out with the
It's
unrated
on
one.
Peacock.
And I'm like,
Both of them are on Peacock.
Both of them are on
version.
Peacock?
Yes.
Oh, all right, cool.
So I'm going to revisit it
interesting.
again. I want to see the unrated version. But this was really good. Awesome movie. And not too scary. So if you have younger kids who are into horror,
Yeah.
most of them I think can
Yeah,
handle
because
it.
my daughter's 13 and she liked it too.
And if you watch the PG-13 one, it's fine. You can handle it, I think. And the other thing I saw, Brian talks about high art and culture in his Geek Flag. Well, I'm doing just the same. Sam and I went with some friends of ours and we saw Cocaine Bear.
Oh, nice.
It is fucking phenomenal.
I'm hearing good things about it, man.
It is exactly what it sounds like. And I want to give a shout out to a listener of ours who listens to all our episodes. Doug Huddy wanted us to talk about this movie when it came out, and we kind of scoffed at it because it sounded ridiculous. It is ridiculous in the best way possible. So,
Nice.
Doug, we are going to talk about
All
it.
right. I'm hoping to see it this coming Tuesday.
I know
Maybe
you're
my dad
not a
will want to
big
see
animal fan.
I think
Tito.
at some point I said there was no fucking way I would watch a movie about a bear
Exactly.
doing
You did, I
cocaine
believe
on
you
this
did.
show.
But
I
Tito,
saw the
Let's
trailer.
consult
It
the-
looks
Let's
fun.
consult the tapes, Derek.
It looks fun.
I know you're a fan of character actors, and
There's a lot of
there
cool people
are
in this-
some
in the trailer,
great,
yeah.
funny actors in this movie.
Good
some
cameos?
Great moment. Awesome. Not cameo-wise,
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. Not really. I hope Elizabeth Banks makes more awesome films like this. And I know we're going to see a ton of rip-offs.
Instead of more Charlie's Angels movies.
Stay away from Charlie's Angels. Elizabeth Banks, I love you. I always have. And I love you even more because this movie was just it's the fucking thing everybody needs right now. Just a fun, balls-to-the-wall, crazy films. My only complaint is I would like it to have even gone further
Not
because
enough
it could have.
Really?
Not enough. Plenty of cocaine.
Wow.
And I can't.
Well, maybe
say
they'll
enough.
come out with an unrated version.
I hope to
when
God
when
they do.
When it
A
hits Peacock
4-hour
or
Or a
wherever it
sequel,
goes to.
Heroin Bear.
No, we got Meth Alligator. The Asylum or what? The people from Sharknado are already jumping on this fucking bandwagon
I'm
because
sure they are.
Cocaine
Them.
Bear had such a strong opening. We're getting Meth Alligator, and you can bet your sweet
Tito,
ass.
just
I'm
when you
gonna
thought
be
you
watching it.
It was
couldn't
safe to
stand
go
regular
back in the
alligator.
water.
Into the pond. Those are my two things. My geek flags flying high, baby.
So,
Derek.
so I sold my waste management stock because I no longer work there, and so the amount was going to go down because now it's in it would have been the public rates. So we sold it. So I had some walking around money that my wife surprisingly let me keep.
Good,
She
man.
just gave me the check.
Good.
And so I went and got one of the things that I've wanted for a long time, which is a VR system. I got the new PS, the PlayStation VR 2.
Oh, nice.
Which is brand new.
Because
Did
we
you
have
bring
the
it
we have the
over?
original VR.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I
play
should
it?
fucking borrow it.
Yeah.
'cause, so here's the thing. I love it. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Like I've used one before, like I think it was a Quest, one of the Quest ones, and like when you put it on, it's you scan the room. I mean, it looks like Tron. It looks like
Nice.
something out of a fucking movie.
Yeah, like
Where
it's a grid.
You look around and it's like that grid topography. It maps out the whole room. Unfortunately, I had bought when I bought it. I went out and got I went on the PlayStation Store and I downloaded like 4 or 5 games that I have always wanted to play. I got the Iron Man game.
Oh, I have that
I got
one.
the Batman game. I got a Rick and Morty.
They have a Doctor Who game.
Do they?
That's fun.
I got the Rick and Morty one, and I got one that I've actually played on my phone, The Room. It's that H.P. Lovecraft inspired puzzle box game.
Oh, so not Tommy Wiseau. You're not.
No, not that Room. I wish. I fucking wish.
Because I
I
you
look
would
so
be the one.
sexy,
You totally would be.
Lisa.
Totally.
By the way, thank you.
You got to save Denny from Chris R. You and your pal Doggy.
What a beautiful party. You invited all my friends. What a good idea.
You have the power of cheep, 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 cheep to ward off people's spirits.
Yeah, you get to play football in the park. In this game, it's great.
In a tuxedo.
Put on your virtual tuxedo.
Sorry, Derek. Go ahead. I had to throw that in there.
So I got these thinking like, all right, awesome. I have a PlayStation VR now. Well, because those ones, they need the camera that's not attached to the mask.
Oh, so they're not
They're
compatible?
not compatible.
Oh.
And as of right now, there's no...
those games specifically?
Right.
Ah.
So all the PS4, the regular VS,
VR.
the VR games are not compatible.
Oh, that sucks.
There's only about 12 or 13 games that you can get. But they do have a couple games. I did pick up one called Swordsman, which is like it's exactly
like
what you
Fruit
fucking
Ninja.
think. No, well, I mean you're using it as a sword,
Yeah.
but it's medieval and
okay.
it's different types of medieval, like different eras, and I'll tell you, I fucking got a workout using this thing.
I'm sure you did.
I was sweating. My arms were sore between the sword fighting that I did in that game, and then I bought a kayak game where like they have races and stuff in it too, but it like one of the most lifelike things I've ever fucking seen in my entire life. Like,
wow.
It's so cool. So I'm really glad I got it. There's a couple of cool ones coming. There's a Ghostbusters game they're putting out.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
A Creed boxing one, which it looks really cool. So I hope, and hopefully they eventually make it backwards compatible or do like a patch.
That was the big thing with the PlayStation 5 was a lot of the, if not most of the PlayStation 4 games were backwards compatible.
Right. And
where
and
previous versions of the PlayStation weren't.
And on the store, when you buy, you can buy both. You basically get both versions.
Yeah.
In a lot of the way that they package them, because the PlayStation I got is the digital only. So now I can only download. But it's nice because now I have those, and I can go on I can log on to the PS4, and any of those ones that are
they're
PS4
in your
games, they're in my library now.
Oh, nice.
So. A lot of my old favorites are in there.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm very, very happy with it. And
cool.
also
Nice. Party at Derek's.
Yeah, right.
Totally, we should. And yeah, the other thing was I saw Ant-Man, and I loved it. I really thought it was a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed the Ant-Man movies in general. And this one, it's a good flick overall. The pacing was good. I like the pacing. Michelle Pfeiffer got to like kick ass.
Oh yeah,
like, she really
got.
She
to
was
shine
the
in
front
this one.
runner, yeah. And which is when she was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, like I was really excited for her to be there, and she really wasn't.
Yeah, she was kind of wasted in that.
And recasting Cassie, the daughter, makes sense. They're trying to reach a younger audience now,
right? Because it wasn't the same one in
right.
Endgame.
And I really liked her. Emma Fuhrman is the girl who played her in Endgame, and I like that actress, but. Because I know that they're gonna end up offshooting this into a Young Avengers type thing in the future, and gearing this towards this younger generation of the next wave of fans. Peyton List is a she's more recognizable. She's been in more things.
Gotcha.
And she could probably hold her own in an ensemble cast of young actors, probably better than Emma Fuhrman, who I haven't really seen in anything else. But still very cool. I like the way that they did her character.
Cool.
They don't call her Stature, but I'm hoping that
eventually they will.
Yeah, next movie she'll get that name, and I like that she called him Grandpa Hank.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, overall pretty good. I'm looking forward to more.
Nice.
And Kang, oh god, dude.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors.
I still haven't seen it.
Best thing to happen, like the best thing going for phase 4 or 5, whatever phase we're in right now, is 5. Jonathan Majors.
I believe this is
kicking off 5.
Yeah, beginning of 5.
And he plays, so far we've seen him now, including this movie, as several different variations of Kang. And you get the Kang that everybody wants in this movie, but you've also gotten so many, like he's an amazing actor, and he's really like kind of demonstrated that very well with the character of the different ways that he's portrayed him. So I'm looking forward to even more.
Yep.
I gotta see it still too.
Cool. Yeah, same. And I will. Yeah. Anybody else have anything? All right, then. Cool. So I guess that's going to wrap it up for this very quickly. If you want to go back and listen to other episodes where we cover more recent things, we haven't done that in a while, and I know we were going to, but
they were not recent anymore.
No, not anymore. But we used to do things that were topical. We've been going down the old school stuff a lot, and we are for this month as well, because we love the in the March of Madness idea. But April, I promise you, for those who want to hear some more recent stuff, we are going to be a whole month of late to the party stuff. We're going to cover all the stuff that a lot of the other podcasts have already covered, I'm sure. So we'll be behind, but you'll get our take, and it's probably going to be different from a lot of other.
I thought next month was April showers. I thought it was all movies about bathing.
Shit. Never mind, guys. It's all old ladies in tubs next month. Sorry, Tito.
The month without a Tito.
We're gonna watch about Schmidt when Kathy Bates scene.
Oh God!
But if you don't want to hear any more old movie stuff, and you want to go back and revisit some past episodes,
What's
Brian,
really old?
Where can they go?
They can go to
go to really old with newer stuff that were really older episodes. You know,
want to hear stuff that was current about 2 or 3 years ago? Well, then you can go to www.3gdpodcast.com. That's www.3gdpodcast.com. As Mark said, all of our episodes can be found there, along with one-click buttons where you will be able to subscribe to us. If you're not already a subscriber, what are you doing? Please subscribe to us please subscribe to us. You'll never miss an upcoming episode by hitting one of those buttons to any of the podcast platforms of your choice. Also, our email links are there. Our social media links are there. Places where you can rate and review the show. Our Ko-fi page is there. If you would like to make a donation, it would be greatly appreciated to help keep the show going. And I believe that's pretty much it, gentlemen. Am I leaving anything out?
Just a quick happy birthday to William Gaines, the founder of the Tales from the Crypt EC comic books, who was born this day.
Wow.
Yeah.
In what year?
1922.
Today. He's born now.
He's born now. He reincarnated.
1922, so he's 101. Is he still alive?
No,
I didn't
he passed
think so.
away back in the
Okay.
90s, shortly before he had time to oversee the pilot episode of the Tales from the Crypt series, which was all through the house, the Santa Claus one, and passed away shortly after. But as a fan of EC Horror, I figured we'd give him a nice shout out. Thank God I got that Darcy calendar. It's got so much knowledge.
Yeah.
Tons of... Shut up, Derek.
And R.I.P. to Riku Browning.
Yes.
The Gill Man who passed away yesterday.
The last of the living Universal monsters.
Was he related to Todd Browning?
I don't believe he was.
No,
it was just a
he was
coincidence.
not.
All right.
Yep.
Very, very good coincidence.
Yep. But he passed away yesterday at the age of 93 or 4, I believe.
Your favorite Universal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
good one.
I've always loved the creature from the Black
We'll
Lagoon.
have to watch that in honor.
And Riku Browning was the one who portrayed him in the underwater swimming scenes. He claimed he could hold his breath for up to 4 minutes.
For a long time.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
that's all I got.
Well,
So-
don't hold your breath until the next episode, but do come back for it. For 3 Geeky Dads, I am Mark.
I'm Derek.
I'm Brian.
I'm Tito.
We are 3 Geeky Dads saying, please keep watching the skies. Over. Yeah, bitches.
You always do these on the fly, too, don't
I
you?
do.
That's impressive.
Look at that.
Knocks them out of the park most of the time.
Mark's not fucking around.
I don't.
Flying without a
I
net.
take this podcast very seriously.
How is she?
And we can.
They call my name.
kids. Hide your
They
behind.
call me Stacy. They call my name. That's not my name. My name's not Stacy. It's John Wayne Gacy. William H. Macy. Dawson's Creek's Pacey.
What is that from?
Thank you. I just made it all
No,
up.
you didn't.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Honest
That's
to
from
God.
something.
It's not from anything.
said you'd
All
have
me.
Yes, it is. I've heard it
I
before.
never take credit for anybody
First
else's
Christmas.
jokes. I have never once.
First Christmas.
I have never once.
Okay, Carlos Mencia.
Wait, when did I do that?
I don't know. I've heard that before.
I have never heard that, and I also invented the
Like
word
it,
totes too. By the way,
Totes my goats.
Yes.
Toads with-
Anybody else want anything to drink?
oh, I'm good.
No,
Thank
I
you,
got
Brian.
one.
Thank you, Brian.
What do you want? You want Sprite?
What was I doing? Oh, okay.
Accusing me of plagiarism. First off,
Accusing. I mean,
thank you, Tito.
accusing kind
Because it lasted. It was good for literally like 3 minutes, and then it falls flat. That's usually how it goes. Yeah, because I couldn't think of anything else. Shazoo!
And now it stings when I pee.